afternoon. And happy Tuesday to everyone. Happy Tuesday to everyone. It's been a minute when I had to take me a 3-day vacation and, trying to, it's the holiday season and, brother want to spend time with his family and loved ones. So I took a couple of days off, but now I am back. It is playoff week. And speaking of the playoffs, I've been seeing a few disturbing things amongst amongst my fellow UGA dogcasters. I consider myself a dogcaster, but I'm seeing a few disturbing things amongst my fellow UGA dogcasters. And I'm seeing that, listen, Larry Munson is a legend. I love Larry Munson. May God rest his soul. He was a great legend for the University of Georgia. But some of you dogcasters, you're trying too hard to fill those shoes. You're taking a playbook out of Larry Munson's. You listen. Um, Look, I'll be the first to tell you. Are there some teams in this playoff field that I am a little concerned about? Yes. Okay. Ohio State. I've said it and I've been consistent with how I felt about Ohio State. Ohio State, in my opinion, roster for roster, talent for talent, may be the most talented team in the nation on paper. On paper. But sometimes that doesn't translate to the field. Oregon is very talented. I think Oregon may be right along there with Ohio State, more talented than my Georgia Bulldogs. But a lot of times the most talented team does not win a national title. There were times that I feel like my Georgia Bulldogs was the most talented team last year, but we didn't even make it into the playoffs. Some people feel like South Carolina is the most talented team this year in the nation. They didn't even make it into the playoffs. We'll never know. Ohio State, Oregon, and I would have to say a rematch with Tennessee concerns me. Clemson, a little bit. They would concern me a little bit because it's tough to beat a team twice in a season. But what really concerns me the most is asking this team, even if it is going to be in Atlanta, asking this team to defeat a very talented Texas Longhorn team, not once, not twice, but 3 times in one season. That is a tall order. But when it comes to Indiana and Notre Dame, me personally, I have no fear. And I invite all the smoke. When it comes to these two teams, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why DAWGS fans should not be the least bit concerned about Indiana or either Indiana or Notre Dame. So everyone, get your popcorn ready. This is the Dog Call. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Dog Call. Happy Tuesday. I'm your host, Armondo Black. It is playoff week. It is that wonderful time of the year. Happy holidays to everyone. Salute, salute, salute. Get your popcorn ready because I'm about to go in. Like I said, these last couple of days, I've been, and I watch a lot of fellow dog casters out there. Some I actually support, really support. A lot of them are doing their thing. Um, the Dog House, shout out to you, brother. You doing your thing over there, bro. Love the content. Love the content. Salute, 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 salute. I also watch Dog Nation and Locked On Dogs. uh the dog yeah, I just say DGD. I enjoy that young man's content over there as well. um but I'm seeing some some dog casters out there that I watch, that I will ghost watch and watch from the bushes. And I'm seeing this, these comments in the chat, and also it's like the content is more like fear, okay, pumping fear into UGA fans about Notre Dame and Indiana, and I don't understand where the logic behind that. Because, and like I said, do I think that my Georgia Bulldogs can be beaten? Yes. Anybody, if we learn anything this season, any team can be beaten on any given Saturday. So that's not the uh the moral of my story. Okay. Like I said before, there are some teams that concerns me in this playoff field. Ohio State, Oregon, a rematch with Tennessee would definitely concern me. And asking our Georgia Bulldogs to beat a very good, talented, loaded Texas team for a third time in the same season is a tall order. But that could become a reality in order for us to win a national title. In order for Kirby to get his third national title, he may have to go through Texas for a third time this season. That is a reality, depending on what happened in that top bracket. Now, when it comes to the bottom bracket, and I don't mean to sound cocky or anything like that, but there is no team on this side that puts any fear in me. There really isn't. There's no team that I'm afraid of on this side. There's no team. I mean, I'm looking at it on our side of the bracket: Penn State, SMU, Notre Dame, Indiana, then Boise State. None of those teams, Boise State, Penn State, SMU, Notre Dame, or Indiana, puts any fear in me. And now, like I said, football, any given Saturday, you can be beaten on any given Saturday. Upsets happen. If one of those teams were to beat my Georgia Bulldogs, it would be just a situation where they caught my Georgia Bulldogs on a bad day. It won't be because I would concede. I would never concede that either of these teams are better than my Georgia Bulldogs. And what I mean by catching them on a bad day, I mean by catching them on a bad day, a bad, fluky day, and defeating them. Because when it comes to those teams, they are nowhere near on the level, nowhere near talent wise on the level of our Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why our Georgia Bulldogs and UGA fans should not fear either of these teams, Notre Dame or Indiana. Here's reason number 1. What do both teams do best? They run the ball and they stop the run. And I'm hearing Dawgcasters say, oh, Riley Leonard, Rourke is a very good athlete. He'll run if he has to, but most of the time he's going to beat you in the air. But there's this assumption that Notre Dame is just going to go out there and boat race Indiana on Saturday night. And I don't believe it. I really don't. Because that Indiana team is the same Indiana team that went into Columbus, Ohio, and went toe-to-toe with them for 3.5 quarters. If it wasn't for the special team blunders, that game would have went into the fourth quarter tight. Remember, they gave up a lot of yardage on punts. They gave up a kickoff return to Caleb Downs, and they had a muff punt. I'm sorry, not a muff punt, with a punter just had a blunder. And Ohio State scored a touchdown. Indiana shot themselves in the foot a lot that day. But even with that being said, Ohio State did not put them away until like the latter part of the fourth quarter. Now, you can say what you want to say and say, well, Ryan Day took his foot off the gas. Ohio State took their foot off the gas because they didn't want to make Indiana look bad and knock them out of the playoffs. That's just assumption. That's just speculation. We don't know if Notre Dame is even going to get past Indiana. We don't know that. We know Indiana has been tested. I mean, literally tested. When both of them have played cream puff schedules. But if I have to pick out a team that has actually been tested with a better loss, it's Indiana. Indiana lost to a number 2 ranked Ohio State, remember? Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Let's not forget that. See, the media, they want to sweep that under the rug. Some of these analysts that are predicting Notre Dame to go deep in the playoffs, they do not want to talk about the Northern Illinois game. I don't give a damn if that game was in September. I don't give a damn if that game was in August. I don't give a damn if that game was on the 4th of July. There's no reason in hell why Notre Dame should have lost that game. That was a terrible loss. Northern Illinois, was there in the Ohio Valley Conference or something like that? Mid-America Conference or something like that? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. If someone can help me out in the comment section of what conference that Northern Illinois belongs to. But I know one thing, they're not a Power 4, Power 5. Hell, they're not even the Mountain West or the All-American. They're not on that level. And they went into South Bend and beat Notre Dame's ass. But them clowns over there in ESPN, they want to sweep that under the rug like it never happened. And I'm here to remind you that Northern Illinois was very real and it happened. I don't give a damn that it happened in September. That you're Notre Dame. Preseason favorite. There were some analysts that had Notre Dame as a preseason favorite to win a national title or to play for a national title. Every last one of them had Notre Dame as a preseason playoff favorite. A preseason favorite to make the playoffs. And it was early in the season. They weren't hit by any injuries. They was at full strength when they lost that game to Northern Illinois. Keep that in mind. I can understand you dropping a game or getting a hiccup like what happened to Bama in Oklahoma, or what happened to Ole Miss in Gainesville. But to take an ass whooping like that from an inferior opponent in early September, that's unacceptable. And there's no way in hell that any of you clowns can convince me that that same team that let a Northern Illinois team come into their backyard and dominate them the way they did for 60 minutes, you can't convince me that that team, that Notre Dame team, could beat my Georgia Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl. Mm-mm. Now, could it happen? Yeah. They could catch my dogs on a bad night. That can happen. That would be the only way. The only way. We would have to do some dumb things to just give the game away. Like turnovers or dumb interceptions or half-ass tackling. Now, they said, well, Riley Leonard runs. Riley Leonard, he's an athletic quarterback. Riley Leonard can do this and Riley Leonard can do that. What? And this is what kills me with a lot of you. Think about our schedule. Think about the teams that we played this year. Besides Texas, what team have we played that did not have a damn running quarterback? I'll wait. What team did we play this season that did not have an athletic quarterback that could run it at any time? Clemson's quarterback is a dual threat. Middle Tennessee's quarterback, dual threat. Jalen Miro, Bama. Peyton Thorne, Auburn. Kentucky had a mobile quarterback. Mississippi State had Van Buren, mobile quarterback, very mobile. Florida, Lagway. Ole Miss, Jackson Dart is very athletic and mobile. Some people compare him to Josh Allen. Nico, mobile. Nico is that quarterback that could break a long touchdown run for 80 yards on you if you're not careful. The UMass quarterback, mobile. I don't give a damn about it being UMass. He was mobile. He ran a hell of a lot more than he passed the ball. Georgia Tech, Haynes King, who I feel like is one of the most underrated QBs in the nation. And if a team in the NFL gives him a chance, I think he would make a damn good starting QB for an NFL franchise with the right offensive coordinator in the right system. That kid was very mobile. Did he run on us? Yes. But he also did that to a lot of other teams this season. Namely, the number 2 ranked Miami Hurricanes team. So this notion that Notre Dame is dangerous for Georgia because of Riley Leonard is very athletic and can run. I mean, I just named off some damn good athletic QBs that our defense has already saw this year. So what the hell makes any of you think that Riley Leonard is going to be able to come along and do something that a lot of those other QBs, those running athletic QBs, could not do? Now, Riley, I'm not taking anything away from Riley Leonard. He's good, but he ain't, in my opinion, he ain't on the level of Nico. He ain't on the level of DJ Lagway. Give me a choice between Leonard and Klubnik, Clemson's QB. I'm taking the Clemson QB. Riley Leonard or Haynes King. I'm taking Haynes King. Haynes King has been tested by some pretty good defenses this year. So it ain't nothing that Notre Dame is bringing to the table that we haven't already seen. Oh, Indiana has a good running back. Indiana has a good running back. Mm-hmm. Quinshawn Wisner, what is he? Chopped liver? Dylan Sampson? I really do believe, in my opinion, that the Heisman committee should start inviting 6 instead of 4. Dylan Sampson should have been a Heisman finalist, but it just wasn't in the room. The Heisman list was so loaded this year. But that kid, in my opinion, is going to go on into the NFL and have a hell of an NFL career. That kid is the most dangerous running back that we faced. Martha, Clemson's running back. No joke. Florida's running back. Pretty good. The kid, the number 13. Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech. Oh, he'll be playing on Sundays. We faced some damn good running backs this year. Auburn got a fleet of running backs that we faced. So it ain't a damn thing that Indiana's bringing to the table as far as running game that we haven't seen. Now let's go to run defense. We just beat the number 1 run defensive team in the nation. The number 1 team against the run, Texas. They are hard as hell to run on. And the ETN with bruised ribs put up almost 100 yards on that Russian defense. Tennessee is another team that's hard to run on. Isn't it ironic that Jalen Miro, Bama's QB, ran over every defense that he saw this year? Every other defense that he saw this season, but he did not run on Tennessee's defense. You know why? Because Tennessee has a damn good Russian defense. Little suspect in the secondary. And I'm going to address that later on this week when I talk about the Buckeyes Volunteers playoff matchup going into Saturday. But that run defense of Tennessee's is for real. Ferocious. They are damn good at the run. They have some fast linebackers. And Nate Frazier went out there and handled them. Georgia Tech has a pretty good run defense. It's hard to run on that Yellow Jackets defense. But Nate Frazier was able to do it. Cash Jones. So that's reason number two. That's reason number one. There's nothing that either of those two teams, nothing that they're bringing to the table that puts any fear in me as a Dogs fan. Because everything that they're bringing, we've already saw. One thing I can tell you they're not bringing is, and I'm going to go to number two, they don't have an elite passing attack. They don't have, neither of those teams have elite wide receivers that could just blow the top off of our secondary. So our secondary can play man all night, or whoever we see in that Sugar Bowl game. They can lock down and play man all night on those receivers and bring pressure on the quarterback or load the box up and shut down either running game that we see. They don't have an Isaiah Bond. They don't have a Squirrel White. They don't have a Ryan Williams. They don't have a Matthew Golden. They don't have any of that. They don't have any elite playmakers. They have given Kirby Smart defenses problems in the past. They don't have that. Neither of the two have that. They like to line up and run and play physical. You know, that reminds me a lot of Kentucky. Line up, run, play physical. A little physical in the trenches. But, like I said, on a bad night, a team like that can catch you slipping. Like Kentucky almost caught us slipping. Kentucky caught us on a bad night. But that was in the middle of the regular season. I don't see teams like Indiana or Notre Dame, and I'm not poo-pooing on their accomplishments this year. But I don't see either of these two teams being able to dominate us in the trenches the way they've done other teams. I don't see them being able to do that to my Georgia Bulldogs. After damn near a month's rest for our defense to heal and rest up and be at full strength. And our defense will damn near be at full strength come New Year's night. Keep that in mind also. That defense is going to be at full strength. That's reason number two. Reason number three, there's only two coaches in this playoff field, in this entire playoff field, that have won multiple national titles. There's only two head coaches in this entire playoff field that have even won a national title. And that's Dabo and Kirby Smart. Cignetti, good coach. What he did with Indiana was remarkable. Some people feel like Prime Coach Prime got snubbed for AP Coach of the Year. I don't feel that way because Colorado has won in the last 10 years. They have been relevant. They have went to bowl games. They have had winning records. I remember coming up as, when I was in high school, Colorado, my senior year, Colorado won the national title with Coach McCartney. And then in the 90s and the early 2000s, Rick Neuhausel had them, had them boys, playing some good football. They won the Big 12 a couple of times in the 90s and the early 2000s. "30 years ago, Rashawn Salam won the Heisman." So, yes, is it, has Colorado had a rough patch in the last maybe 5 to 6 years? Yes. But it's not a program that has just been in the bottom of the cellar for decades like Indiana. Indiana has not been relevant since the 60s and the 70s. You got to go back that far. So what Signetti did was remarkable, in my opinion, and he deserves the AP National Coach of the Year. But with that being said, Signetti is no Kirby Smart. He's not battle tested like Kirby. Kirby is battle tested. Kirby has earned his wings. Kirby has earned his medals. Kirby has been in the trenches as an assistant coach with the greatest head coach of all time. And he came to Georgia. And in year 2, won an SEC championship game, won a playoff game in the Rose Bowl, and came within one lucky Hail Mary, 2nd and 26, of winning a national title. Kirby actually should have 3 or 4 national titles, in my opinion. 2017, 2021, 2022, last year should have been a three-peat. Kirby should have 4 national titles right now. He could easily have 4 national titles, but he has 2. That's the most important point I'm trying to make. Kirby has been here before. And I don't know about you all, but when it comes down to a 12-team playoff field, a tournament style playoff, which is the first time in college football history that we're experiencing this, it would be smart to ride with the most proven, battle tested, and experienced head coach. That's Kirby. So as great as a job and as remarkable as a job that Signetti has done this season, and it has been remarkable. I'm not taking anything away from it. The man is not Kirby Smart. He's not. Marcus Freeman, great defensive coordinator. I will never forget what he did to my Georgia Bulldogs in that Peach Bowl 4 years ago. Where that defense he designed held our dogs in check. And we had some good running backs. Zamir White, James Cook, Kenny McIntosh held our running backs in check. The man can coach, and the man is a hell of a defensive guru. He is one of those. He is going to be, if he, and this is the thing, I don't see him staying in college football very long. I could see Coach Marcus Freeman going into the NFL. I'm hearing rumors about him going to the Bears, or the Bears are taking a closer look at him. His style of coaching could work in college or the pros, because he's more laid back style of coaching, but knows his X's and O's. And I have the utmost respect for the way he's built and revamped that Notre Dame program. Got him into the playoffs after Brian Kelly left the program high and dry. Left the program like a thief in the night, chasing the bag down in Louisiana. Marcus Freeman stepped in and has this team right back in the playoffs. So I commend him for that. But with that being said, Marcus Freeman is no Kirby Smart. No Kirby Smart. This will be his first playoff game, Saturday. This will be Cignetti's first playoff game also. Both of them are new to this. Kirby is a vet at this. Kirby is experienced at this. Kirby is battle tested. Football is all about matchups. Neither of these two teams match up very well against our Georgia Bulldogs. Football, and what gives a team an advantage in a setting like this, in a one-game elimination game, the more battle-tested team always has the advantage. Think back to 2017. We had Bama on the ropes, 13-0, 20-7, and they kept coming back. There was not a second in that game that any Tide fan felt like Bama was going to lose. You know why? Because at that point in time, Bama had been battle tested. Hell, they were just in that situation a year prior against Clemson. They were battle tested. They had been to what, 4 or 5 different playoffs. Played in like a couple of national title games. They were battle tested. We weren't. And that's why we came up short. Kirby wasn't battle tested in 2017. Great coaching performance in the Rose Bowl. And some of you may say, well, Oklahoma was in the Rose Bowl a year prior to but they was there with Bob Stoops in 2015. Bob Stoops was the head coach when they lost that playoff game to Clemson. And he retired that summer of going into 2017. I'm sorry, 2016. Bob Stoops was the head coach both years, 2015, 2016. He retired that summer of 2017, and Lincoln Riley stepped in. And Lincoln Riley, although the team had been there, Lincoln Riley was a young pup, just like Kirby. But the advantage Kirby had over Lincoln Riley is his experience of being on the sideline with Nick Saban. That was the edge that Kirby had over Lincoln Riley. But when it came down to facing down the GOAT 7 days later in Atlanta in the national championship game, Kirby wasn't ready for that at the time. Now you fast forward 8 years later. Kirby right now is the best coach in college football, the most proven head coach in college football today, the most battle tested head football coach in college football today. I'm including Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick won on the NFL level. He ain't won a damn thing in college. So for those of you to say, well, Bill Belichick is the GOAT. Bill Belichick ain't did a damn thing in college yet. We don't know what he could do. And on that note, and I know I haven't had a chance to address it, I look at that move, and for those of you that think Bill Belichick is just going to come into the college football ranks and take over, remember, Bill Walsh, in my opinion, Bill Walsh, one of the greatest head football, probably number 2 behind Bill Belichick, tried the same thing. When he retired from the San Francisco 49ers, he went to Stanford in the early 90s, became the head coach at Stanford, and he didn't have the same success. Let's just say he didn't have the same success that he had in the NFL. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. So if I if I had to choose any head football coach to coach a team to go into this situation right here, a 12-team tournament format, I'm riding with Kirby Smart and my Georgia Bulldogs. So people can say what they want to say. They can say, Armondo, you sound cocky. You act like you sound cocky. You act like Georgia is elite. You act like Georgia is the most elite team. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it again. In this field this year, there is no elite team. Every team in this playoff field has flaws. From the number 1 seed all the way down to the 12th seed, every team has flaws, including our Georgia Bulldogs. So ask yourself, so if there's no elite team in it, and when I mean elite team, I'm talking about 01 Hurricanes, 95 Nebraska Cornhuskers, 93 Florida State, 99 Florida State, where you just knew that they were going to be the last team standing that year. The 04 Trojans, where you just knew from August to January to the last game in the Orange Bowl, you just knew the Trojans were going to be the team to beat that year. The 08 Florida Gators. I'm just naming some dominant teams. The 2011 Bama Crimson Tide, 2015 Bama Crimson Tide, the 2013 Florida State team, the 2010 Auburn team. When I say elite, I'm talking about those teams. The 2021 Georgia Bulldogs. When I say elite teams, I'm talking about those teams. that were just head and shoulders above and better than everyone else. 2019 LSU Tigers, the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs team, elite, head and shoulders better than the rest of the field. I don't see a team that fits that title this year. I don't see a team like that this year. So those are the three reasons why no one is fearing no one in this fan base should fear any team. I want to thank all of you for coming out. Make sure you hit that like button. Share this video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. All right, everyone. Hey, it's playoff week. Hey, we're here. We are here. This is what we've been waiting on. This is playoff week. We get to sit back for once and relax and watch other teams beat the hell out of one another and wait for the opponent. But one thing's for sure. I am very confident that my Dogs could beat either one of those teams, Indiana or Notre Dame. Everyone, well, thank you all for coming out. I'm Armondo Black. And until next time, like I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. And go Dogs! Sick 'em! Woo, 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 woo. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.